Go on to the next topic. Man, see this man Calvin Johnson, known as Megatron.
Megatron.
You could say formerly known as Megatron, whichever one. Um, he recently made a statement saying that he's contemplating retiring, or he was planning on retiring in this off season. He told head coach Jim Caldwell the day after the regular season that he planned on retiring and during this off season, and they told him to take some time and to rethink his decision. And they told him that there's no rush. Just take your time with it. No need to you know try and force yourself with it. But people close to Calvin have said that he seems pretty content with his decision. So just to give you all kind of like a background of Calvin Johnson, he was the number 2 overall pick in 2007 in the 2007 draft. He's a 9-year veteran in this league. In 2012, he set the record for NFL season record for 1,964 receiving yards. He's the Lions' all-time franchise leader in receptions with 731, and he's their franchise leader in receiving yards with 11,619. And for anybody that
Mm.
talks about his play has dipped, I mean, he had 1,000 yards receiving this year. He had 88 receptions for 1,214 yards. It was a 6th consecutive 1,000-yard season in the 7th of his career. So do y'all really think that it's time for Megatron to hang it up, or is it one of those things that he's hanging it up because of his body and himself, or is he hanging it up because of the team he's on? Because of all the years he's been on the Lions, I mean, they've only had really 2 playoff appearances. They've had below 500 records, and they haven't won a playoff game either. They haven't won one playoff game in his time being there either. So do y'all think that this is more so Megatron retiring because of Megatron? Do you think he has more left in the tank, or do you think it's because of his team? Khaled, start with you. What do you think?
I think that it's definitely because of his team and because of his body somewhat. I mean, the man's 30. He's gonna be 31 this year, and well, when 2016 season start, and I mean that's fairly older to us, but I mean that's still kind of like it seems like you still got a whole lot left in you at 30 years old. I mean, like you said, he hasn't had this isn't really been a decline for him. It's still 1,000 yard season, 1,000 receiving yard season. So he's not declining, and he's playing good. It's just the team that he's on, the environment he's in is just not winning.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that he realizes that he can't go anywhere else and get like the same and have like the same benefits or whatever. But then again, he's not going to be in Detroit winning as well. So his retirement may stem from that. Plus, I mean, I definitely want to see some more Megatron. Definitely. Uh, I think especially when people hear other people when players retiring, some of the best players, people really want to see them play a little bit more. Just to see them have like one of those great good farewell seasons.
Amari
Stuff like
Cooper said that actually.
hmm
Yeah, Amari Cooper was like, I mean, when you have somebody that's been in the league so long and so great, it hits you when they're actually time to hang. You feel like they're gonna play on that great level for forever, which
hmm
is what a lot of NBA players are going through now with Kobe Bryant.
Kobe, yeah.
You know what I mean? But Rashad, what's your take on it?
I feel like it's more because of his team, because the Detroit Lions have done nothing to help him out. He's never really had like that supporting cast. It's always been Megatron. Megatron had to basically put this team on his back every season, and that's a tough task to do. Like he's witnessed, an 0-16 team.
hmm
Dang, yeah.
He's
That's so
he's
sad.
been a part of that. Like his name is in that in history for as great as like that's when we was talking about. He was like one of like the number 1 receiver in the league too.
That's
And
crazy.
you're like, yo, you're the number 1 receiver, but you can't win a game. Like he's never had support. And I honestly feel like if he was on a decent team, because Lions is so yeah. If he had a decent team, he would still be in the league at least another 2 years. Because like you said, he can still play. He's had a fairly healthy season. I guess you can say fairly healthy.
He's tough through it.
Yeah, he's tough.
He's tough through it because his ankle has been killing him.
Yeah,
That's what. And he said he has constant body soreness. So, yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like that's a lot. But I feel like it's a lot of info players. It's just when you feel like I think you feel when you're at the point where you're putting your body on the line for no reason is where it starts to get to players, and that's where I feel like it's got to him at. But I feel like his supporting cast is not them there, and I feel like he just can't stay with them no more.
I think you feel like that he's throwing his body out there with no result,
Yeah, exactly.
no benefit at all.
That's exactly like he just like right now he's honestly just playing for money
Yeah.
because he doesn't have a team to help him get somewhere.
And then people were also talking about how much his contract plays into this factor with everything going on with their salary cap and how much their contract negotiations plays a part in his decision to retire. And I feel like it's kind of similar to the Andre Johnson situation, Calvin Johnson, Andre Johnson, but Andre Johnson situation when Andre Johnson was in Houston, because Andre Johnson felt like Houston was never giving him the chances to maximize on his receiving potential. I mean, they got to the playoffs sometimes, but it was always seemed like it was consistent first round exits, which has been the moral of the story for the Detroit Lions. And then you see Andre Johnson, he goes to a team like the Colts, who had just made the AFC Championship last year, and Andrew Luck is hurt for predominantly the whole season. And you look at something like that, and then you're just like, man. But then you look at another receiver whose people were writing off for a while until Carson Palmer arrived, and that was Larry Fitzgerald. And then they made that adjustment to put Larry Fitzgerald in the slot. And it seems like his career's been reborn again, kind of thing. And to me, Larry Fitzgerald is still one of the best receivers in the game. You know what I mean? But, people were writing him off for a while because of, how bad the team was. But, sometimes you just need that quarterback, and you need somebody. Not to say, Matthew Stafford is a above average quarterback, I would say, but there's just always been something with that Lions team. I don't even know what to put it on. I don't, because there's times when their defense will look good. There's times where their offense will look good, but then there's times where everything just looks bad and everything just looks terrible. And then, you see it like from them letting Ndamukong Suh go. That was your star lineman, and then you let Ndamukong go, and then there's things like that, and it's. The team, and then they let go of Jim Schwartz after he had a good season. Not to say Jim Caldwell isn't doing as great, even though they didn't make the playoffs this season. But Jim Caldwell, he did have them in the playoffs last year when they had that game against the Cowboys. But you look at things like that, and you sit there and you think, man, like, let me stop saying that. But you sit there and look at it, and you think he's enduring, and people underestimate how painful a high ankle sprain is, and that's consistently what he's been dealing with in recent years. And he played all 16 games of this season, and people were talking about, oh man, this is especially on the Thanksgiving Day game, because that's when he was actually really televised, and people were like, man, is it the return of Megatron now? And I'm like, man, it's crazy because people are talking about, is it the return of Megatron? The dude has, he last year he was evidently hurt, but he still had 1,000 yards receiving. So you're like, people just really just writing off Megatron now. But he when he says that even team treatment isn't helping with his soreness, he's always just consistent, because he at the end of the day, what makes Calvin Johnson great was put people, kind of fueled the argument for him being one of the best receivers of all time. There was a point, man, I remember that season when he broke the receiving yards record. People were talking about, is he better than Jerry Rice and kind of things, because of how big he is, 6'6", just a freak athlete. He's physical, he's fast, and that's one of the tolls that takes on your body when you're a physical athlete. Your body starts to feel like it's betraying you. It starts to feel like you're breaking down, and then you feel sore at all times. Him being at the receivers, and he's getting hit a lot. A lot of those high collision hits, he's taking them, and he normally was always able to brush them off. But I guess after this, normally, it happens also with the age progression also. But he's felt as though in recent years it's become so bad, because there was even a point in time last season he was contemplating retiring. So I'm guessing in recent years he sat down with the fact that it's become so tough on him, and he told Matthew Stafford and one other player, I can't remember, something Bullock, I think. But he told another player, Matthew Stafford, near the midway through the season, that this could be his last year, and that he wanted them to keep it confidential and keep it on the low about his possible retirement. They respected what he wanted, And it's just sad to see that one of the game's best, it's a 9-year career. 9 years, you feel like it's so short, but I mean, it is the NFL where unpredictable things happen.